Hello viewers. I am going to show you all the new features that are currently in the Innkeeper. Title is placeholder. All the artwork is placeholder. Pretty much everything is placeholder except for systems being built. And let's just get right into it. New game. None of this actually matters. None of the characters can address you, so I'll just put in whatever. Hit new game. Alright, so got some beautiful music by Eric Hamilton. I'm actually going to mute it for now, though. Sound effects is really loud, so just drop everything back. So, as you can see, start out on this giant property with a bunch of debris, rocks, and weeds and trees, similar to many other games. This property is yours. Eventually there'll be some story as to why you're here, and I don't know what that story is yet, but right now we have this property and you can run around. You can zoom out, you can zoom in, you can even twirl around. So just because this is a demo, I have a crafting table here on the street, and all of these necessary items just kind of laying around when I need them. These are basically items that are not craftable. These are some food items that you can cook, some ingredients that you can't really get with crafting, so that's why I just have them laying here. So here we go. The point of this game is to run an inn, so there's going to be a lot of building, a lot of crafting, a lot of decorating, and a little bit of management, sim management, like a little bit like The Sims, a little bit like Stardew Valley, because there'll be some farming. There's going to be some cooking, very rudimentary cooking right now, where you just kind of throw things in a pot and hit go, and they pop out as a recipe. So first thing you're going to want to do, start clearing some land for your buildings. So I'll grab a pickaxe and an axe, and also a sword. Obviously, axes chop down trees, and pickaxes break rocks. Oops. I have a sword here that is really powerful and just hits everything in its path, so I like to use that when I'm testing, just to clear the land really fast. And I also have a sword because there might be combat. I'm not sure yet. I'm throwing around the idea of having this mountain to explore where there's enemies and interesting locations to find, but that's all still up in the air. So I've got some land cleared here, and now I can start building my inn. So let me just show you the crafting menu. You have your items, your equipment, so you can make a sword and a wand. Just ignore the wand for now. And your building recipes, so doors, walls, foundation, roofs. So I'll just get everything I need to start building a house. A lot of foundation, a lot of walls, some doors, and I'll grab some roofs. Okay, so that's everything you need to build a basic structure. And you can build an inn many different ways. You can have separate little homes like villas. You can have motel style where there's a bunch of different entrances. You can have one giant like Victorian building with multiple rooms. You can really design it however you like. Try to make it as open-ended as possible. So for just for the demo's sake, I'm going to make separate little villas so that each guest has their own little house. So I'll make 3 rooms. I try to keep the building style as easy as possible for a controller. I'm not designing it for PC or for Mac. I'm actually designing it with controller in mind first, and then I'll convert it to mouse and keyboard later, but I definitely want controller first, just because I know if I design for mouse and keyboard first, to add controller support later would be way more of a pain in the butt. All right, so now I'm going to just surround these little floor tiles with walls. All right, and finally, we need some doors to get in. Great, so now you can walk in. All the walls kind of hide away so you can see inside. And, oh, finally, for decoration's sake, we'll put some roofs. Now right now this is the only roof I have, which is a gabled roof. I plan to have a bunch of different styles and allow you to go crazy with decorating and designing. I want these houses to look pretty when they're done, so I think a roof is pretty important. All right, cool. So we have little homes, and so right now you see it's 3 o'clock in the morning. No guests are going to show up, and even if they did show up, I can't let them into the inn yet because they don't know what's an inn. You gotta open up your inn to the public. So to do that, you need 2 things. You need a sign, which I might just start on the property, just a basic sign, and maybe you can upgrade it to different designs later, but for now, you just have to make a sign, and I can't afford it, so I'm just going to make some money real quick so I can craft some money so I can make everything. Right now you can see the ingredients for crafting is here, and everything on the items section just costs $1. So let me grab that sign now, and a lobby counter. So this is it's a mouthful, but I'll probably change it later to something simpler. But you need a lobby counter for your guests to come and request rooms. So now that I have those 2 things, I can put a sign on the property pretty much anywhere. So now that it's on the property, you can see it coincides with your stats up in the corner. So if I open the inn, so now it's open, and you can see the inn is open up here. Close it. Cool. But as you can also see, I don't have any vacancies. I might have these rooms here, but it doesn't know that they're guest rooms. Oh, so it's the end of the day, and it's basically giving me a summary of everything that happened, but nothing happened. So it's saying that I have 0 vacancies because I don't have any guest rooms. Now this is all going to probably change, but for now you have to tell a room to be a guest room. So I have this in management system where you hover over a room, and basically it just grabs a floor tile, and it finds all the floor tiles in a room, and then you can select a room type. So right now I have 3 room types, guest room, restaurant, and common. So I'm going to make these guest rooms, and I'm going to give them names. It's going to be my Villa 1. This is going to be Villa 2. And this is going to be Villa 3. Great. So now I have 3 rooms, and right away you can see I got 3 vacancies now, no guests. And the inn is closed. So let me put down the counter. So guests can arrive, and I'll open up the inn. So now the inn is open, I got a counter, and here's our first guest, waiting to be dealt with. So he's just a debug guest. He's got no personality, he doesn't say anything interesting, and he doesn't have a name. Eventually, I'll have guests with storylines, personalities, preferences, and there'll be ways to attract certain kinds of guests, and some guests just won't visit you until you have the right kind of inn, the right kinds of decorations, that kind of thing. I'm hoping that attracting these guests will be, one of the most fun parts. When a guest shows up, like for a second time, you can kind of continue their storyline, maybe get to know them better. So he's asking for a room. So when they show up at the counter, they have their own little dialogue that asks for a room, and then it enters into this assigning a room dialogue. So I'm going to assign them to Villa 3. Now he'll go in there, and that's his room. So one problem that will happen later is when he goes to bed, there isn't a bed, so he'll just leave and he won't pay you. So I definitely want to give him a bed, and since I have 3 rooms, I'm going to need 3 beds. Okay. So decoration mode. I try to keep it simple, and I want you to be able to precisely place everything, so you don't run around as a character and place the items in front of you. You get to precisely rotate and place everything. And you can see here, I keep accidentally going to the second floor. You can build a second floor and stairs, which I'll show later. All right, so I'll put a bed in there. So we just have another guest show up. He'll wait there for about an hour before running away. So I have a little bit of time to decorate. And when decoration starts, when you do anything in build mode or decorating, time does pause. So now we have beds. Great. Do we have any rooms available? Okay. So I don't know if you noticed, but so now when I hover over these rooms, before they were alerting you to missing items, and they did say there was a missing bed before, but now that they have a bed, it gives me a price, how big it is, and all the items that are in the bedroom. So you can see everything affecting the price. And right now the price is just based off the size and some modifiers, like if beds are extra fancy, or if you put fancy decorations in there, it'll increase the price. Which this will all change later, but it's a very simple way to calculate price. So now I have 2 guests and 1 vacancy. So you can see when a guest enters their room for the first time, they wait there for a little bit. They kind of get a lay of the land, and then they decide they want to do something. And this guy, he's got a little fishing icon over him, and he's going to the dock, and he's going to start fishing. Because right now fishing is the only thing I could do. This dock is just kind of here, and based on what the decoration, what the activity is, they'll show different kinds of emotions. So this is the relaxing or inspired emotion that fishing coincides with. If you have, there can be fun activities, and they'll show a fun emotion, or there can be tasty activities. You can feed them, and then they'll show some tasty emotions. There's plenty of emotions you can have them see or have them experience. All right, here's another guest, and I know I have 1 more room, so let's assign them. Okay, so this is the last vacant room, and now I am fully booked. People will still show up, but since I don't have any more rooms, I can't really assign them to anything. So now I have a dock, so they can go fishing, but it's kind of boring. So let's make some more things for them to do. So a lot of these decorations are just activities in themselves, self-contained. So let's say I put a hot tub down. A hot tub is a very simple decoration. You put it down, and they come and interact with it. And it's very simple. and they enjoy it. But a lot of the other decorations, they kind of play with each other well. So um, let's say you put a couch down. A couch won't do anything. Maybe a guest will go sit on it if it's in their room just to relax. But if it's like in a common area, they won't just go sit on it as an activity. But if you put a TV in front of it, then they'll know, okay, I'm going to go sit on the couch and watch TV. Or if you put a bookshelf down, a bookshelf is a special item that you can put activities inside of. So there'll be items that are activities, and then there'll be decorations that are activities. So a bookshelf is a decoration that will hold items that are activities. So I'm going to grab a bookshelf, a couch, and let's see, do I have a book here? I think the book is in the street, so I'll just go pick up the book from the street. Here it is. So I got a fantasy novel, and let me actually make a little house for my common area. So I'll clear some more space, get some more resources. Right now, resources are plentiful, and nothing really costs much. But that'll be balanced later. All right, so let's build a rec room or something. Make it nice and big so I can put a lot of stuff in it. So you might notice some of the icons over their heads are really confusing. Everything's temporary. I've just been using random sprites to represent random activities. So that check mark was, bedtime. This this icon means that they're just enjoying their bed. I'll probably have I'll definitely have very clear icons that show what they're doing, what they're thinking, and how they're feeling. Right now, like I said, it's all temporary. All right, so let's build a door to get inside our rec room. And I'll put down all the decorations we bought. So couch. Maybe I'll put it in the middle of the room, and I'll actually put a TV in the room as well. So the couch is like a multi-purpose area or a multi-purpose decoration that facilitates a lot of activities. So I'll put the TV in front of it. And real quick, I'm going to pick up the couch and I'll put it back down just to show you. So these green arrows, they represent the TV's kind of link to the decoration you're putting down. So if I face the couch in the direction of these arrows in front of the TV, that means that it'll reach the TV and the guests can watch TV from this decoration. So if I put it here, then now both of these seats can be viewed, or can view the TV. And let me also put down that bookshelf we made. So now bookshelf, if I go up to it and I click on it, you can see it has its own inventory, which allows me to fill it with things like books and also board games. Here I have a board game on the floor, 500-piece puzzle. Okay, so I can go up and put the board games in there, and you can see they actually populate on the shelf. So you can see now books in the middle shelf and board games in the bottom. So now you visually know stuff's in there, and I think eventually I'll make it very literal, one-to-one. So if you put a certain item on there, it'll spawn that exact item. But right now it's just a basic representation. Now I put board games in there. I put the puzzle in there, but they won't just do a puzzle anywhere. They need a place to do a puzzle, and for that they'll require a table. So here we have the end of the day again, and we actually had guests, so the guests are checking out the next day, and it's going to give you a little wrap-up of a review. This is all placeholder text, but this is all real, so they stayed for a day. This is how much a room cost. They didn't experience any extras. Extras are like if you open up a restaurant and serve them food, they have to pay for that. Or if you put out a buffet, they have to pay for that. So I might get rid of that because it seems a little too money management. I don't want it to be so much about managing money, but more about just the experience. So I might actually get rid of that. But the joy, they did not experience any joy because none of the activities gave them joy. That is weird because the hot tub should have given them some joy. So that might be a bug, but we can fix that. And when they experience extra joy, they actually tip you, so the total would go up. And all the guests had the same exact experience because they just do everything. Some guests in the future won't do everything, or they'll do things multiple times and do things for longer. So that'll change the way the numbers work out. This is just placeholder. Okay. So let me build that table so that people can actually experience the puzzle. And tables are good for a lot of things. You can feed people. You could, if you have a restaurant, you put the tables in the restaurant and it'll alert people that your restaurant is open. Let's actually build a restaurant. The only thing you need to build a restaurant is a menu and some tables and chairs. So I'm going to grab a bunch of tables and chairs. And let's build our restaurant right up here. All right, I'm going to make it kind of small just to illustrate what it does. So you actually don't need walls for a restaurant. The only thing you need walls for are guest rooms because guests like privacy. But for a restaurant, in order to like make a nice indoor-outdoor experience, or if you want to just do an outdoor restaurant, all you really need are floor tiles. And if you go to the in management, select room type, restaurant, I'll just call it outdoor cafe. Cool. And kind of like the inn needs a lobby counter to function and a sign, restaurants, they just need a menu blackboard. So when you put the menu blackboard down, that's an item that you can go up to and interact with. And it opens up this, this panel where it shows you all the recipes you know. And recipes you'll learn over time, either through leveling up your cooking skills or talking to people and doing tasks. You can learn recipes many different ways. Right now, this is just all the recipes that exist in the game. And basically, it's also just a list of all the consumable items. So we have BLT sandwich, we have donuts, a whole bunch of stuff. I'm just going to put, I have a tomato in my inventory, and it shows you a little number of like how much you have of that item. So I have one tomato, so I'm going to put that on the menu. So right now, it's added to the menu. If I want to remove it from the menu, I just go over here and remove it. But since tomato is the only thing I have, and I know there's a bunch of things on the floor in the street, so I'll put a BLT, and that's it. So another thing for restaurants function is people need a place to sit. So I'll put a table and some chairs. And you can see those arrows show up again because tables are also one of those decorations that require, secondary decorations to function. So if I put a chair over here, guests will be allowed to watch TV, but I want them to sit at the table. And I'm also going to build a table in the rec room so they can do board games. Okay, cool. So I have my restaurant. It's functioning. I have a rec room, which is also functioning. And here's my first guest of the day. Assign him to a room. So he's probably going to immediately go fishing. Oh, no, he's hungry. So he's going to go to the restaurant. So the way it works at a restaurant is they sit down and you have to serve them. And you can just immediately serve them, but it's good to talk to them first just to see what they want. So he wants the BLT. So you have an hour to get him a BLT. I have one over here. Scoop that up and hand it to him. Thanks, this looks great. And then you see his icon change to the tasty emotion. So he'll sit there and eat it for an hour. Eventually I'll have animations and I'll spawn the food in front of them on the table. But right now, they just kind of sit there. Let's see if we have any more guests showing up. It looks like it's 5 p.m. I don't think they show up anymore after 5 p.m. But let me show you some of the other things you can decorate with. So maybe I can convert this into like the main house. And let's say I want to build some rooms like on the second floor of this structure. So I'll build some stairs up to the second floor. Do I have any stairs? No. Let's go build some stairs. And I did notice that guy was sitting there and eating forever, so there's probably a bug there. Or it's possible there was nothing left for him to do, which, no, that's not true. Could have went to the hot tub. Alright, so I'm going to build some stairs up to the second level and build some foundation up there. And you want to make sure not to build foundation over the stairs, because then you won't be able to go up them. So now you can walk up second floor, build some walls up here. And maybe I'll build some rooms. So let's see. So I'll make a room up there. All right, so I'll build 3 rooms up here. Guest room. And this will be room 201. And here you can also see it's telling you what's missing from a functioning room. Missing a bed, missing a door. It's all very obvious. Okay, so let me build some doors since now I'm actually stuck in here. All right, cool. So now, if I go back over here, it's only missing a bed. Oops. And let me grab some bathtubs, because those are fun activities. Okay, cool. I'll put the bathtubs in the villas because, you know, pay a little extra, get a little extra. So you can see it's not letting me put it here. It's because bathtubs have very specific entrances, and they need to be against the wall with the faucet in the right location. So now if I go over to these rooms in the inn management, it's showing me now there's a bathtub in it, and the price went up because bathtubs add value to a room. Another thing that I want to point out is that you can actually use all of these decorations. So if I go up to the hot tub and I interact with it, you just kind of hop in and enjoy the hot tub. And the future plan is to make some of these decorations little mini games or beneficial in some way. So if there's an energy system, maybe hopping in the hot tub will replenish that. I have a piano here, piano decoration. And the future goal is to possibly turn this into a little rhythm game. And as you do better, it'll attract the guests over and they'll come listen to you and you can entertain them. Right now, the guests will play the piano, but doesn't actually have any benefit for you. You just kind of do an animation, but it's still kind of fun to interact. So he'll play the piano. And it's approaching 6 a.m., which is the end of the day. Eventually, there'll be a sleep system where you don't have to wait for the whole day to go by. You'll just be able to pop into bed, and the day will speed by really fast. All right, so now I have a room. I got a lot of rooms, 6 vacancies, and let's see if I can fill every room with guests. So they always wake up hungry. I'm not actually going to feed them because there was a bug that just made them sit there and eat forever. So I'm just going to let them sit there for an hour, not get fed, and then go do something else. And they'll actually sit together too. They don't mind sharing a table. Right now I have guests showing up once an hour for the morning. I think the way guests show up is still in flux. I think looks like they'll just never get up. That's unfortunate. So I'm gonna have to like take apart the restaurant. Oh, they did get up. Okay. All right. So in order to delete a restaurant or delete any room, you can go up to the room, just hit delete, and he'll get up eventually, and then nobody else will go sit there. There is another way to feed your guests, and it's putting out a buffet. So maybe I'll put out a buffet and let them eat that way. Let me put this guy in the main house. So to put out a buffet, you need a countertop. And I'll just put that in the restaurant. And the way a buffet works is you can put anything in there. It's another inventory, kind of like a bookshelf, but you can only put in food. So I'm going to put in this tomato. I think this is just a slice of bread. And whatever that is. Oh, it's an avocado. So you can see on the table it actually spawned the exact item. But, everyone always goes fishing first. Eventually I'll have it so that also they do them in random order, so it's not so predictable. But once they're done fishing, they'll probably come back and eat. So this guy wants to play the piano. And he's enjoying himself. That's nice. Right now when you talk to them, they just have one thing to say. I am debug guest. Happy to be absolutely useless. In the future, obviously, I want them to talk to you based on a bunch of parameters, how well they like you, how much, or how they're feeling based on what they're doing. So maybe if they're playing the piano, they can say something related to it. And if each guest also has their own quest lines, you'll be able to ask questions and kind of poke and pry and maybe figure out what they're into. All right, so I do want to point this out. Because this is all placeholder stuff, I didn't have an animation for doing a puzzle. So the animation for doing a puzzle is dancing. And since you do puzzles at a table, he just stands on the chair and dances. And this guy's watching TV, just standing on the couch dancing. So this is kind of where it's fun to watch them just go do their thing. They're running around doing it all really fast, and it all happens quickly. I hope to slow the pace down for like the final game, because it's kind of hard to understand what's really going on. So now they're all going to bed. It's bedtime. And that's where it's at right now. Actually, let me show you one more thing, which is cooking. So if you want to cook stuff, there is a stove item. Let me just see if there's any. Oh, done from yoga mats. So let's say I want this to be a little yoga retreat. Just give them some things to do. Some yoga mats in the forest. So I can go enjoy that. But cooking. So I want cooking to be a pretty major part of the game. And right now, I just have a stove that you can put down. But I want to basically build out a whole kitchen with a bunch of different items, such as stoves and oven or microwaves, different levels of cooking implements. And the better the implement, the better your food can come out. So right now, it's just stoves. So when you interact with it, it goes into this cooking menu, and it's got a couple of tabs. Here's where you can just experiment in cooking different things. But if you go to the recipes tab, this will show you all the recipes you know, and it'll just tell you exactly what you need to make it. So a fun thing is a BLT. You need bacon, lettuce, tomato, and white bread. So I have some tomato here. I'm just going to take the tomato and the bread out of there. I'm going to go grab some bacon from the floor. So bacon, lettuce, cool. So now if I go here, and let's say assume I didn't know the recipe already, and I was just experimenting by putting in the bread, bacon. You can see they all show up in the frying pan also. And everything starts to cook. This is the tomato and the lettuce. It's a little confusing because the icons don't really match what they are, but I just know. And then I hit cook, and boom. It made oh, didn't do it. I don't know what happened. Oh, God. It didn't make it. I must have broke it. But let's see if this works. Make a BLT. Can't afford. Interesting. Not exactly sure why, but now I'll fix that. That's fine. Another piece of the puzzle is how to get cooking ingredients, and the way to do that is through farming. So I have two seeds here. I have sunflower seed, tomato seed. I'm just going to plant a tomato seed and a few. I'm going to grab the hoe and the watering can, and I'll build a little backyard garden. So you can hoe any of the land on your property, and it's pretty clear what's on your property. So a lot of people checking out today. Big money day. So here's your property line. I might make like a rickety fence that you can change or fix, but right now that's your property line. So I just tilled some of the soil, plant some seeds here. I only have 3. And I will water it. That was my favorite thing when I just used a placeholder animation to represent watering and just throws the water down. So that takes a while. That'll take about 7 in-game days. So we won't get to see that fully grow because that'll take a while. But you can trust me that works. That is the last thing that I worked on, and I know it works. And I have not worked on the town at all. But if you go down the road, it's kind of random, but I just have a warp here to the town. And this is all me just laying out something placeholder just to get a feel for what a town could be. And I have one character here that will actually give me a quest. So Melissa says, I swear my diner was here yesterday. Do you think you could build me a new one? I don't know what happened to her diner, but she needs a new one. Start by walking up to the empty lot behind me and lay down a bunch of foundation. I think Carlos sells foundation. If you're handy, you can make some. No idea how, though. So this was kind of my first attempt at just putting a quest together, testing out the quest system, and a little tutorial on how to build. So if I go up to this empty space and I put some foundation. So here, I mean, the graphics are all messed up. It's not showing me the right grid size, and it's showing me a second level, which I don't want to allow, and it's really big, but this is still kind of funky. But if I do put down some foundation, and I talk to her again, she knows that. Ah, very nice. Floors will help. Now if you can build some walls. And she gives you a little hint on how to build walls. So ignore the visuals, but I'll put down some walls. Now she's asking to build doors. So if I keep going, she'll eventually be satisfied and say something different, maybe give you a reward. These townspeople, I think these are merchants. So here's Carlos. This is who she was talking about. He is the handyman. He sells some resources, some building items. Basic guess. She does nothing. She just talks to you. And we have Vic. She just sells random things. So throughout the town, I'll have different merchants and different businesses that you can visit. So let's go back to our aim. Take a path. All right, so I think that's everything for now. Everything worth showing, at least. You can decorate further things with windows and columns, French doors, which are just 2 doors next to each other. And yeah, that's where it's at right now. 14 months of development, and that's what I got. I hope you enjoyed.